You get the picture. I'm starting out.
I wait on you as you wait on me, so we can see more of this silly world. The world, it isn't bad, as long as you think happy thoughts and not be sad, and hope for the best every day. See your importance, that you are good and every day, and you can make it every way, every day.
So this is actually an area where I did do quite a, well, I wouldn't say quite a bit of theater, but I did do some theater shows there. I did Orphans here. The one that they made a movie with Albert Finney and Matthew Modine. And this is now the area, kind of basically the same area where a theater was. There's actually a theater right here. But this was like live theater. So me and this guy, and a soap opera actor from New York, the Italian guy, played Harold. I played Treat, and a friend of mine played Philip. And we actually had some sold out crowds. It was a smaller, intimate theater. It was one of my favorite shows I did in my 20s. And I was thinking about maybe taking off to Hollywood then. I waited a little bit longer, and I ended up getting my degree. But it was in basically this area in a small little ballet theater, or ballet studio. In the back of a ballet studio, they turned it into a theater. One of my cousins owns a bar over here by the railroad station. That's a cool car right there. And my dad also started a jewelry store in this place right over here in the 80s. By the time Rocky 3 was coming out, or Rocky 2, probably more like Rocky 2 time. But that place right there is still around. I think it's the same restaurant. First time I ever had a mushroom. This is actually the place. It had an upstairs area right in there. And it was a jewelry store. My dad ran it for a while. That was when he was thinking about running a chain of jewelry stores, because he was in the refinery of jewelry business for quite a few years. And Grapevine is still, I guess, kind of still my family in a way. This is kind of where Post Malone would hang out when he was younger too, in the Grapevine area. He claims to be from Dallas, but the rumor is he's actually from this area. Don't know for sure, but he says he's from Dallas. So, but this is Grapevine, and Chills is up here, right? They have a little theater there too, up here coming up this way. I'll show it to you. This is a real old train station. There's an old jail here too. If you ever go here, the old jail is you can see it, and there's the theater right here called Chill. They've got one not too far from where I live. That's actually a dinner theater. The place is called Daniel's Place. The place is called Chill. They do have an old, like, jail that's fits like 1 or 2 people. This is all the Grapevine area. It's kind of like the area where the Von Erichs kind of hung out a little bit, learned wrestling with some of these teachers of wrestling, or the coaches and stuff like that lived in this area. Kurt Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich, all the great wrestlers, David Von Erich, all the brothers, all the Von Erich wrestlers and stuff like that. And also we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and these houses over here. A friend of mine that does craft work out in Oregon had a little place over here. Now it's a lot of mansions and stuff like that. They have a street name now called Liberty Hill, but this is off of Mount Gilead is the name of it. I don't know if that was the same name when I was younger, but it's kind of South Lake kind of area. But yeah, the Von Erichs have a history in this area. They used to wrestle on Channel 11, which was a real big wrestling. You know, kind of like WWE. It was like WWE, WWF kind of thing, and it was like local for a while, and then they, you know, switched over, became well known, real popular wrestlers and stuff. And then of course there was a tragic thing that happened in their families, well, and also in just their careers, kind of were a little bit tragic too. A lot of close calls and death and things like that. Yeah, this is basically where David Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich, and the rest of the Von Erichs were, you know, pretty much kind of trained to be wrestlers. And they still have some gyms and stuff like that out here. But this basic area, and this is not too far from Roanoke. This road right here is actually called Roanoke, right there. It's also known kind of as the Keller area. Keller, in between Keller, headed maybe like towards Roanoke, and Keller, you know, area, I guess, is kind of Von Erich kind of thing. This is probably headed on the outside of the Keller area. And that sign said Keller right there, but Fort Worth did buy some areas not too far from here, but this is mostly going to be the Keller area. And you see way down there, you see tons of cows. Now, when I was younger, the property that we used to play on was called Hunt's property, which is the back side of that right there. So that's where we would play. When we were kids, we would play in like hay bales, but we're talking about big hay bales, you know, 20 feet high, you know, 100 yards long. We're not talking about small hay bales. You could climb in, make castles underneath, crawl all around it and everything. You could jump off the top of the hay bales, you know, 20 feet, you know, land in a bunch of hay and then have to crawl out through tunnels and of the hay. And that was known as the Hunt property, which led to the side of our house when my dad built his first mansion. A lot of people here travel around like in ATVs. They did that in Maine too, but in Texas here in the South Lake, kind of over the Denton County line, you know, area of Texas. That area, you know, they do drive around ATVs. ATV is an alternate terrain vehicle. So you're gonna get a lot of soccer moms in this area of Roanoke. So this was basically just a bunch of woods. When I was growing up, it was just trees. Lots of trees. It's Aberdeen Trails, but it's Roanoke, and it's Soccer Mom Village is what they should pretty much change it to, the name. You'll see a soccer mom almost every corner, exercising pretty much. Can't see it, but it's an ATV. It's a soccer mom with her lap dog. That way. You can barely see it. You can kind of see it here a little bit if you look real hard. That's a soccer mom on an ATV. Kind of glimpse it right there. You go. You saw some of it. There's two ATVs right there. There's another ATV right here. There goes the soccer mom with the police flag and the lap dog into the park. So you pretty much don't even really have to have, some of them don't have to have a vehicle because everything's delivered to them pretty much. There's like a park, and they just kind of drive around, and their millionaire husbands, you know, bring them, well, I guess what they need, I don't know. Oh, pizza? Yeah, I need you to stand 6 feet, please. Thank you. Remember that film when you were a little kid called Where the Red Fern Grows? Yeah, it's interesting because Texas has not outlawed masks. Now, some other states have, like Alabama. Not now, not at this moment, they haven't. But there has been a law in certain states, maybe Mississippi, where you're not allowed to even wear a mask. Now, if those laws are still there, I don't know for sure, but Texas has not outlawed wearing masks, that you can actually still wear them. And I think you could wear them before the pandemic. You can wear them during the pandemic. But mask wearing is perfectly legal. Now, Greg Abbott is thinking about possibly lifting that mandate. But we don't know for sure. We don't. But anyway, that's what they're saying. Some other states in the South too, and other areas are lifting that I guess they're calling it a mandate. They're about to pass another ATV. Well, there's a whole ATV area. Looks like people just use a golf cart to get around. Nice little Kia right there. Yeah, this is kind of a backup on some of the traffic in the Trophy Club or Keller area, probably. Very close to Keller. This is probably not too far from Roanoke, Texas, too, or in that area. There's a Panera Bread right here. Kind of see it right there, but this is kind of a lot of flipping traffic because it was a 2-lane kind of country kind of road kind of thing. Marshall Creek kind of boulevard kind of thing, or it's a road, Marshall Creek Road. Say that this is the harvest area where they harvest some vegetables. So I have a lot of good footage on my Samsung. It's on the same channel. It's my Samsung. A lot of that field was fully grown. So this is the harvest area, and they've got a really good gas station on the corner. This is mostly going to be a lot of fish right there for that community. So they can pull fish out of there, and there is fishing allowed because I've seen fishermen. And there's probably quite a bit of fish in there. And then they have their own vegetables, gardens that are pretty well organized, farmer market style kind of thing, and they're getting something ready right over here. We're going to be running across an area that says harvest to the right. If you look to the right here, you're going to see the introduction place right here off Farm Road 407. And that is harvest right there. So it's a community that does their own growing of food. It's experimental. Just pulled into Flower Mound. Texas Speedway area is to my right. It's Dell Earnhardt Way that we just passed. That's exit 72. '70s right here. It's called the Dallas Bridge Point or Port. Bridgeport is right here, Texas Motorway. Rolling Stones actually did play there. Not too long after it first opened. Texas Motor Speedway was under construction, and the plans going on when I first started college back in 1997. Now, it could have been there, leave a comment, but the Rolling Stones did actually play there, and you can kind of see it. They didn't play in that diesel van or whatever that is, or semi. I'm sure it runs on diesel. It might, leave a comment. But that is, and we got Buc-ees coming up. That is the Texas Speedway. So it's actually a speedway. And many bands, many rock and roll bands have played there. Besides the Rolling Stones. So there's other ones too. That's Texas Speedway right there. There's Buc-ees outside of it. 6 miles right here. 6 miles left. I guess these have 200 and something too. That says, yeah, I'm gonna try to get on 207. A little over my weight. Probably really about 190 secretly. And then there's Buc-ees. Probably should be 180 though. Just barely made it. Alright, so I got like some chips or something like, but they don't do prepaid at the pump if you're over in the 200. So if you're in the 200 station at Buc-ees, you cannot do prepaid. I don't even think you can even pay with cash. So you have to go into the stations that are lower numbers. I'm at 207, so you have to pay outside on the higher number ones. So I have to move if I want to go back in to do prepaid. But they will do prepaid. You just have to find a lower number station. And I mean lower number, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here. That's station 207. So you can't prepay at all. But you can buy stuff. So I gotta move to another station and the Bluetooth will kick in. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to the other station. You can kind of see the little Buc-ees. It's like a statue. This one is by the Speedway. But if you look real hard right there, you can actually see the statue. Then I'm going to another station so that I could prepay. Because you can't prepay on the higher number. Now this one, they separate it very clearly. They're very clear about the 200s, or now I'm in the 20s. I don't know how many pumps there are right here. But they probably just number them with higher numbers. I don't know exactly how many pumps there are, really, to be honest. I'd have to ask them. I'll find out. That's the one right there. They do it so you'll buy stuff. That's the Buc-ees right there. Sign says, make sure your dog doesn't leave anything behind. Catch our drift. The Buc-ees mask is like under $3, but if you buy 3, I think you get 1 for free. Make sure your dog doesn't leave anything behind. Catch our drift. There's Buc-ees. So the thing about Buc-ees is that when you go in and get gas and you're on, let's say, pump 200, they're not going to do prepaid. So you're going to have to pay outside at the pump. Now, if you're in the lower numbers between 1 and 20 or 1 and 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever, around that way, then you can go in and prepay. Now, with the card, if you buy something, it's a normal transaction. You can put the pen in and everything. But if you only get gas, then you have to hit a green button on the card. There's a little green button on the register thing that just you scan it, hit the green button. So if you only get gas, you can scan the card, but you have to hit green so it goes through and runs as credit. Probably they do that for upsells. If anybody knows why, just leave a comment, but they're one of the few gas stations that do that. Probably speed process or whatever, speed thing. So this is a speedway right here. They don't care about Terrence Malick. They don't care about any of it. Care less about any type of photography, any type of cinematography, any type of art house, cinema, film, anything. Don't care about the train or Cormac McCarthy or the film. They want their McDonald's. They want it now. They want it fast. And they want you out of the way. Okay? And they want it real fast. Real fast. Wow. 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 So a lot of things in Easy Rider are actually, I would say probably a little true. I mean, Hoffman had some of it right. And, you know, I mean, he was, really, it was Hopper, Fonda that had it right. I'm going to say Hopper. There it is. Thing I remember in Easy Rider with Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, and Jack Nicholson was the monologue. Of course, everybody going towards Ponder and Crumb, but the monologue was very, very good. You know, now they've been coming here ever since they've been bouncing radar beams off the moon. David Lynch was interviewed, and he said that art house cinema is dead, but Gummo's art house, you know. I would say Upstream Color is a version of art house. Gummo especially. Gummo is, there was another filmmaker, Brown Bunny, which I don't, I'm not going to recommend, but that was the actor that did it. But there are art house films out there. It's just hard to find. It's real underground. Don't worry, kitty, we'll get there in a minute. A true story. Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins cut a tail off a cat. It was recorded as rumor. No one knows if it's true. Leave a comment. Disarm me with a smile. But ultimately, what I was talking about with Dennis Hopper, Easy Rider, is I think that probably was considered art house. But I do think there are art house cinema that's out there because there is. It's hard to find. But I don't think it's dead. I don't know, like now, it's hard because the cinemas are probably going to be more of kind of like, in a house, or like apartment complex may have their own cinema or something, or it could be its own thing. But the cinema is not a building, and it's not a cinematic house. It's not the Vista in LA. It's not only that. It would be nice. That'd be nice if it was only Vista or whatever, whatever, whatever you want to call it, right? It would be nice. We're going in more like a blue darkness kind of thing. But it's not. It's not just the Vista or LA or Hollywood or whatever. It's a lot of things. So at 7-Eleven, that says $2.45, but Buc-ees actually was $2.40. So Buc-ees gas was at $2.40.